There's a federal law that gives laid-off employees a 21-day window to negotiate their severance package, completely legally, and HR will never tell you it exists. The average professional leaves $40,000 to $80,000 on the table. Their employer's attorney knows about this window. The company's HR department knows about it. And they were counting on you walking out before you figured it out. Getting laid off is already devastating. Your mind is racing. Bills, mortgage, family depending on that paycheck. And then HR slides a packet across the table and says, "Take your time, just sign here." That phrase sounds kind. It isn't, it's legal cover. Because almost nobody negotiates their severance, not because there's nothing to negotiate, because nobody ever told them it's possible, and the people who do know, they routinely walk out with 2, 3, sometimes 4 times more than the first offer. Same company, same layoff, different outcome. The mechanism is called the ADEA consideration period. The Age Discrimination in Employment Act requires that any employee over 40 who is being asked to sign a severance agreement, in exchange for releasing legal claims, must be given 21 days to review it. 21 days, that's not a courtesy, that's federal law. And embedded in that window is something HR won't volunteer. The offer is a starting point, not a final number. A severance package is a contract. Contracts are negotiated. The company is asking you to waive your right to sue for age discrimination, wrongful termination, FMLA violations, a menu of potential claims they want off the table permanently. That's leverage, real leverage, and most people hand it back for free before the ink on the termination letter is dry. Here's exactly how this plays out when someone uses it correctly. Say you're a 43-year-old marketing director making $120,000 a year. You get laid off. HR offers you 8 weeks of pay, roughly $18,500. Standard for your tenure. Most people take it. But you know about the 21-day window. So instead of signing, you send a counteroffer letter. You cite your years of service, your unvested equity, your accrued vacation. You acknowledge professionally the legal landscape the company is navigating. You ask for 6 months. They come back with 4. You settle at 18 weeks, $41,500. That's $23,000 more than the first offer. But here's where it gets interesting. That extra money can be partially sheltered. If you have any earned income that year, a consulting gig, part-time work, anything, you can contribute up to $7,000 into a Roth IRA before December 31. You reduce your taxable severance. You keep more. The IRS doesn't advertise that pairing. Neither does your old employer's HR department. Corporate attorneys know this playbook cold. They draft the initial severance letter to look final, authoritative, non-negotiable, because most of the time it works. Employees in shock, worried about their reference, not wanting to seem difficult, they sign. And why would HR volunteer that a better number exists? Their job is to close the liability as cheaply as possible, as fast as possible. The workers who walk out with those larger packages, the ones pocketing an extra $40,000 to $80,000, are almost always the ones who either had an employment attorney in their corner or knew enough to ask one question. Is this negotiable? That's it. One question. The answer is almost always yes, but you have to know to ask it. None of this requires a lawsuit. You're not threatening anyone. You're using the consideration period exactly the way Congress intended to make an informed decision. The 21-day window is yours by federal law. A 7-day revocation period follows even after you sign so you can change your mind. The catch: this leverage is strongest when you're over 40, when it's a group layoff, and when the company has meaningful legal exposure. Under 40, the timeline is shorter and state law varies. An employment attorney will often do a free consultation. The fee, if you hire one, almost always pays for itself before the first invoice arrives. Most people treat a severance offer the way they treat a restaurant bill. They pay what's on the paper and leave. They don't know the number was set assuming they wouldn't push back. Now you do. The 21-day window, the counteroffer, the Roth IRA shelter layered on top. 3 moves. Most people use 0 of them. But here's the question worth sitting with. If a company is willing to negotiate the terms of you leaving, what else were they willing to negotiate that you never thought to ask about? That's a different file entirely. And it changes how you look at every dollar you've ever left on the table.